When it comes to supplements, quality matters just as much as what you eat. That's why I only recommend FullScript to all of my clients, a trusted source for high quality, professional grade supplements that are pure, potent, and backed by science. No fillers, no junk, just the best to support your hormones, digestion, energy, and overall health. Plus, with up to 20% off on auto ship and free shipping and handling, you get premium supplements at the best price delivered straight to your door. Can you ask for any better? Ready to stock your wellness cabinet with the real solutions? Shop my FullScript favorites right in the link in the show notes. Hi friends, welcome to Everyday Health for the Christian Woman, where we explore spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical health from an integrative and functional perspective, all rooted in a biblical worldview. I'm your host, Amber Swift, certified functional and integrative nutrition health coach, wife, mom, homeschooling mom, pastor's wife, because let's face it, you guys, health is a journey, but it's a journey worth taking. And I am so glad to have you here. Hi friends, welcome back to Everyday Health for the Christian Woman. So about 2 years ago when I began this podcast, I did a really quick episode called Aging Without Anxiety. That episode went on to be actually one of the most popular episodes that I would do of all time. And after working with countless women in Journey to Renewed Health, that is my business, I see why. There's something that shifts in a woman, in her mind, her body, her emotions, her hormones, once she hits that 35 and above age category. So here we go. Aging without anxiety, part 2. I thought, why not? Let's revisit this because it is something that I see over and over again. Research shows that once women hit that perimenopause, when you hit 35 and above, you are in perimenopause. You don't have to wait for a test. You're there, girl. So we're all there. I'm 40, almost 48. So we're there. So once research shows that once you hit that age category, that anxiety can tend to be something that begins to increase. And this can show up as racing heart, racing thoughts, not sleeping well at night, or waking up staring at the ceiling. It can come across in so many different ways. If you have never heard my story, go back and listen to the very first episode 1, Getting to Know You, and then go back and listen to I think it's episode 2, which is Aging Without Anxiety. I was diagnosed with chronic stress when I was 39. It wasn't random. It was my body just giving me these signals. And that's what we need to learn to look at it as, is signals. So I want to walk you through why anxiety can be just so common in the season of life. What's happening? And does it mean that there's something wrong with you? And can you reverse it? Is it possible? So often I hear women say, gosh, I've always handled stress so well. This is what a lot of my clients will come to me saying. I've always handled stress so well, but now it's like, I can't. I feel edgy. My mind won't shut off. I feel like my emotions are just all over the place. And so it is common in midlife, but guess what? It doesn't have to be common of you. And that's what I want to encourage you with today. So it might be common, but it doesn't have to be common in your life. So a lot of times when anxiety increases, instead of thinking, oh my gosh, I'm so anxious, what's wrong with me? Maybe think, what's going on? What is something that needs to change? Is there anything that my body is trying to say to me? So once you hit that 35 and up age category, so one thing that could be happening is your central nervous system is overloaded. You're overstimulated. Your body is never, ever shutting off. So when your body is in that high alert mode, your cortisol stays elevated, your sleep becomes lighter, you don't sleep as well, you don't digest as well, you can't think as clearly, you can't focus as well. Am I speaking to anybody? If I am, hit comment and say, yes, that's me. So when you're in this hyper alert mode, your body, it's like you're running from a bear, right? And I tell every single one of my clients this, Think about it. If you really truly were running from a bear, would you stop to sleep? Would you stop to rest? Would you stop to digest? No, you wouldn't. You would keep running from that bear. And that is what your body is doing. If your central nervous system is just overloaded, and I have felt this way before. And of course, when I was diagnosed with chronic stress, I felt like this 100% of the time. So that's one thing. That could be one possibility, is that your nervous system's just overloaded. A second possibility could be just the hormone shifts. So when you have, just think about, picture this like a diagram with pregnenolone at the top, which feeds down to cortisol. And after that, that feeds down into the rest of your hormones. Well, pregnenolone is your master hormone. And if it's feeding down into your cortisol level, and your cortisol level, if it is spiked, will not prioritize the production of the rest of your hormones. So think all of your estrogens, your pregnenolone, your testosterone, and all of the other hormones. So, because there's many more than those. So those are just the ones we hear about. But if your pregnenolone is sufficient, right? That's your master hormone, and it's flowing down to the cortisol levels. But if your cortisol is spiked, then the rest of your hormones, it's just not going to be a priority. So once again, going back to that analogy of running from a bear, if you're running from a bear and your cortisol levels are spiked, you're not going to stop and say, "Oh, I need to produce estrogen. I need to produce testosterone or progesterone." It's just not going to happen. So it's so important to make sure that your cortisol levels are at a healthy ratio and at a healthy level, because you don't want your cortisol to basically be stealing from the rest of your hormones. So that's why sometimes anxiety can feel stronger and you can feel just kind of out of control, is because if you're running from a bear all the time, then your body isn't going to prioritize the rest of your hormone production. And we need those hormone productions. We need all of them. They are beautiful. It is a beautiful thing to think of your hormones. Do not think of your hormones as like the woman's curse. They're not. It's actually a lovely thing that God has created. So that could be another thing. That could be the hormone shift that's affecting your brain. That goes back to that running from a bear all the time. It can be from extenuating circumstances like stressors, like stress in relationship, financial stress, having kids. You have a lot of children, that can be stressful, a loss of a job. But the interesting thing too is that stress can simply come from your diet. Your diet, if it is not anti-inflammatory for you, can actually be very stressful on your body. If your gut is not healthy, that can cause stress on your body. And one of the ways that we get to the root of that, I get to the root of that with all of my clients, is I run functional labs. If this is something that you're interested in, just follow the link in the show notes to grab your health consultation, because that will help us get to the root of maybe what's going on in your body. So, okay, so let's go. So we did the hormone shift. We did the central nervous system just on overloaded. Okay, so let's talk about sleep disruption. So it's so interesting because it kind of creates this loop. Think about it. Poor sleep increases anxiety, which then disrupts sleep. And then think about like maybe sleeping lighter, having the hot flashes in the middle of the night. And then you wake up and you're dragging, and then you rely on caffeine, and you keep relying on caffeine, which then increases your anxiety throughout the day, which then causes poor sleep. It can cause the hot flashes, can cause disrupted sleep, which increases the anxiety, and it just keeps going round and round. And the problem with that is that when your body does not get that deep restorative sleep, it increases your anxiety. Isn't that interesting? So we need to get into that deep restorative sleep, because that is where your body heals. That's where your body restores. Sleep is probably one of the most underestimated benefits for your health. If you start anywhere, start with your sleep. And if you are finding that you are not getting sleep, grab the symptom quiz in the show notes that I'm going to leave for you, because this also comes with a personalized video response based on your score. So important to make sure that you're getting sleep. Make sure that you're removing anything that is inhibiting your deep restorative sleep. This could go into the temperature of your room. This can go into what you're eating. If you're eating a diet that's very inflammatory for you, this can go into making sure that your room has the correct lighting, even things like making sure that there's no Wi-Fi going through your room, making sure there's so many things that you can do to make sure that your sleep is good and it's deep. Because I know how miserable it is to not sleep well. That was part of my story. I was waking up every morning between 1 and 3, and I was still raising 5 kids, and it was miserable. So here's something to think about. If you are really, really struggling with high anxiety, anxiety doesn't respond to like forcing and pressing and making it go away. It is so important to listen to your body. It reminds me of one of my clients that came to me a couple years ago. She was on 3 different anti-anxiety meds, and no matter what she did, it wasn't working. She was getting more and more miserable to the point where she just wanted to crawl and, just sit in the corner of the room and pull her hoodie over her head. But it wasn't until we got to the root of her symptoms, we began cleaning up her gut. We began healing, storing, eating a diet that was restorative for her, making sure that we added in restorative lifestyle practices, also making sure that we had just a few supplements, not overwhelming amount of supplements. But that's really what is so important is really just calming down, slowing down, allowing your body to heal. So aging without anxiety, it doesn't mean you never experience stress. What it means is that you build a more resilient body, a resilient life. So think about like your day-to-day life being more peaceful, more restorative, from your sleep to your diet to your activities to what it is you're thinking on and focusing on, so that when times of high stress come, because it's not if they're going to come, right? It's when they come, your body can kind of bounce back more. It becomes more resilient. And we want to restore that balance. We want to give your body just what it needs. And also too, there's some amazing Bible verses that I always think about. Isaiah 26:3, you will keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on him because he trusts in you. We cannot underestimate the power of trusting in the Lord, keeping our mind stayed on him. When you feel anxious, if you start focusing on the anxiety or the situation, it will only increase, right? And then, of course, I love Philippians 4. Don't worry. Don't be anxious about anything. And we literally have a step-by-step guide what to do. Don't worry. Instead, pray about everything. Give thanks in everything. It doesn't mean we have to be thankful for the situation if it's a horrible situation, but we can give thanks in it. And so we need to build a life that is resilient. Have a life where your body can be more resilient so that you can be more present in the life that you have been given. It is a gift. And so if you're listening and you're thinking, oh my goodness, this explains a lot, but I just don't know what is driving the anxiety in my body, go ahead and grab the link to the free symptom quiz. And with it, you will get your video that is your personalized results. This will help you identify your next step. And remember that you do not have to live in this state of constant just worry and anxiety. This season of life, it doesn't mean that your body is just falling apart. It's actually a beautiful season. It's your body telling you to wake up, pay attention. Your body is asking for support. What type of support is it that you need? Anxiety does not have to lead your story. It might be a part of your story, but it doesn't have to dictate your story. And if you are needing that extra layer of support, grab your health consultation in the show notes. And remember that health is a journey, but it is a journey worth taking. Hi, guys. Thank you so much for listening in and following along with Everyday Health for the Christian Woman. If you found this podcast to just really help you, would you do me a favor? Would you share it with a friend? Would you leave us a review, follow along? This helps us to reach more women because my heart in 2026 is to see more women begin to feel their best, to renew their health, renew their life so that they can walk in all the purposes and plans that God has for them. Thanks so much.